Hello, I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Days after a devastating fire at Birch by Romeo Lane claimed 25 lives, authorities demolished a section of the Romeo Lane restaurant in Goa's Vagator area. The structure, owned by Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, was found to have encroached on the beach. Officials confirmed and 198 square meter area was cleared. Officials say the shack known as Romeo Lane was illegally built on government land. Earlier in the day, the first image of Gaurav Luthra emerged after he was spotted at Thailand's Phuket Airport. Interpol has issued a blue corner notice against owners Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra. The action follows a widening search for the brothers who fled to Thailand shortly after the blaze gutted their nightclub-cum-restaurant. According to Goa Police, the brothers boarded a New Delhi Phuket IndiGo flight at 5:30 a.m. on Sunday, barely hours after the fire. Officers say a lookout notice had already been issued with the Bureau of Immigration. Joining us live now is Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta, former diplomat. Dr. Swati Jindal Garg, AOR Supreme Court, joins us live. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer, also is live with us. M.K. Meena, former IPS officer, is joining the broadcast as well. Let me make a start with you first. Ambassador Gupta, how can we get back these absconding brothers who are, of course, the two accused in this fire incident and lapses case, of course, coming out of Goa? They are reportedly in Thailand as we speak. Blue corner notice has already been issued by Interpol. How do we bring them back to face the law?
See what a quick action. The fire took place in the night, and 5:30 in the morning they took a flight, and that to IndiGo flight. Now IndiGo was having so many problems with the flight, but those two people were able to manage that. It's very interesting. Now, before any action could be taken, they escaped to Thailand. But we have an extradition treaty with Thailand, which has been active since 2015. And since the red corner notice has been issued, I'm sure the Thailand authorities will not allow them to leave Thailand. And soon after, the notice is formally delivered to Thai government, I'm sure they will, keep them in custody and wait for further what we call legal process. The government of India will have to send a charge sheet, and that would be then presented in the local court. Then the local court will decide based on the gravity of the crime that what next step should be taken. But the extradition treaty clearly provides that any crime which is of serious nature, the person is must be repatriated back to India. So I feel so far as the legal position is concerned, we are fine. But what I would suggest as a bureaucrat as well, that how could they get license and how could they construct building on the government lawn? The government should also punish those authorities in the system who have authorized all these construction and a permission to operate the club. Unless the bureaucracy is held responsible, such incidents will keep happening in the future. So bureaucracy should also be brought to book apart from the legal process of extradition, which will of course take its own course with Thailand. So I'm sure in due course they will come back to India. I don't expect any prolonged process in Thailand. It should finish within a month or two, and then they should be back in India for facing the justice in the local courts.
All right, let me in fact also join Dr. Swati Jindal Garg in at this point. Dr. Garg, as far as the charges are concerned, how serious are they against the two brothers? What are the kind of IPC counts that they are facing? And also, why didn't we move swift enough to prevent their escape?
Well, Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, that is a question that Mr. Gupta also asked, that why such, otherwise there is always some delay. But in this case, they were allowed to go out of India, they were allowed to escape. If the lookout notice was issued, circular was issued, why was it not issued in time? Or was it issued just in time to give them enough space to escape the laws of the land? Now, as far as what charges have been framed, well, as far as my knowledge goes, they have been, there is a registered FIR against them on the charges of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Serious charges now, considering that they have undertaken these operations in such a posh club it is, earning so much and yet not giving due consideration to the fire hazard and the way the exits were blocked, everything. So they face life imprisonment or an imprisonment up to 10 years under 105 of BNS, Section 105, culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Apart from that, there may be other charges also levied against them on flouting of the norms that are required to run such clubs. The fact that they were running such a club, like Mr. Gupta said, on government land without due compliances and without due clearances, that is again a question. Why should the authorities not be punished? Because you see, the profiteers will look for their maximization of profit. They will continue to work for their best interest. It was the job of the authorities concerned to ensure that such businesses do not run without due compliances. It has been, from what I have read in the newspapers and other media, it has come to the notice of all concerned that there were certain high ranking officers that were involved in quashing these, not exactly quashing, but ensuring that the FIRs against these clubs do not go a long way. So we need to ask these questions also to the authorities concerned as to why, if there were multiple FIRs pending against them on playing loud music, so on and so forth, why was due action not taken? Apparently, certain questions were raised by the local panchayats also as to why this particular club has been allowed to run the way it has been running, and yet nothing has been done till now. Now that 25 people have lost their lives, we are waking up from our deep slumber and we are asking these questions. The fact remains that in the Indian scenario, it always takes a big disaster for us to wake up, and that waking up is only very, very short lived. And then we go back to our deep slumber for waiting for yet another disaster to happen, and so that we can again rise from ashes like a phoenix. And then, this is a vicious circle that keeps going on and on. These are the questions that we need to ask, because once the authorities are punished, an example would be set, and in the coming future, they would not take any flouting of rules so lightly. They know that their jobs would be at stake, they would be held accountable, and they would be penalized too. So I think the system needs to be tightened up as a whole.
Sanjay Sahai is with us on the broadcast as well. Sanjay Sahai, were there delays in the issuing of the lookout circular? Were there delays, do you believe, that could have possibly prevented the brothers from escaping? How do we now bring them back to face the law, Sanjay Sahai? How culpable are they prima facie as well, from what you've seen into the lapses that led to the fire and led to the death toll also rising in Goa?
We'll start with the culpability part of it, and the whole construction was done without the construction permit. So starting from there was no fire NOC, there's a tourist board. So no licenses were taken from there, and to an extent that till the fire tenders could come only till 400 meters of where the fire accident had happened, which is this particular club which we are talking about. So end to end, what I can see on the culpability part of it, whatever is the culpability of both the Luthras, that is already legally accounted for and action is being taken. Now, the most tragic part of the whole thing, from the Upahar tragedy to this particular case, is active collusion of all authorities, notwithstanding absolutely no gaps whatsoever. So you start with the construction wherever permission to at each level and at nearly every position. Now there was some demolition notice which was given by the local panchayat, and that demolition notice came when there was some quarrel between the partners, not on its own. That particular demolition notice went to the next level of the appellate authority in the executive hierarchy, and that did not happen. So end to end, there is an active collusion. There is complete regulatory paralysis, and it is not because of indifference or ignorance. It is primarily because that there are lots of things which are happening, which I can, in very simple terms, call as the dark underbelly of executive governance. I will stop it at that, and people, I think possibly everybody will understand as to what it is. Once the incident has happened, I think it is, for what a strange reason, I don't know, When you know the culpability, you know that there is a case, you know there is a very serious, heinous case, all that in place, we still don't have databases, we don't have real-time policing, we don't have integration of police lookout or police looking out for whatever accused and the immigration. We have seen it in Ranera's case. 35 times it took for the advanced passenger information system of Indian Customs to come to life. So this is broadly where we are in the current day and age. If the systems don't run in a dynamic real-time manner, and as Ambassador was talking about it, now in this crazy Indigo crisis, that fellow is able to travel from here to Phuket. It is possibly beyond my imagination, and for me, this does not make any sense whatsoever, which gives you a semblance of investigation and also the capability of holding people where we want legally in this country.
Yes. Let me quickly join MK Meena then at that point as well. MK Meena, many counts of wrongdoings that these two brothers face. They're the owners, of course, the co-owners of this resto bar that burned down in Goa, but they're abroad. How soon or how long will it take to bring them back to face the law, and why did this escape happen in the first place? MK Meena, who do you blame for it?
The point is like regarding escape, since it was like police must be taking action, they might have registered FIR, they must be thinking. And in fact, what happened, they call the accused, they call persons. So it takes time. Meanwhile, these seems to be very mischievous person. They took advantage of like police had decided what action is they are going to take, how they are like which accused they are going to call, and what further investigation is to be done. This must be at the preliminary stage, and meanwhile they have taken advantage. If you see their whatever coming record, hours after incident they have left rather than taking care of those persons who died, those persons who were injured, and taking care of that. It was their responsibility. But they are just like a mischievous and highly irresponsible persons. They have run away, they have taken advantage. So at this stage, it's difficult to comment who was at fault. But point is, they have taken advantage of not like they have run away immediately. So at present, we can't blame anybody. Anyhow, inquiry will reveal whose lapses it was. Moreover, and it will take time now. It is not so easy and immediately that there are certain procedures. When the accused go to foreign country, there are certain protocols. They have to approach Interpol. They have to go through proper authority. They have to issue proper notices, different kind of notices, and then only they can be arrested. They can be brought. So it will take time. We can't expect very soon, because it will take time. It will have a lot of procedure, and government of particular country, they have to locate also. Whether they have located, not located, people don't know. It is that they are telling that they have gone to Thailand, but we are not sure now where they are. Whether police got their information, whether the local police of that area or authorities, local authorities of that country, they have located. So it will take time to confirm, because it's not so easy to extradition procedure. It takes time. It has got proper protocol procedures. Regarding this, what exactly has happened in this bar and club, it is very unfortunate. And my experience is there. Throughout the country, there is violation. There are violations in public places for everything. Whether it is fire, whether it is proper evacuation plan. They don't have proper evacuation plan. Now it is failure of the particular local authorities to prevent. There are various reasons for that. Various internal reasons, external reasons for not acting. Because they put pressure through higher ups the no action is to be taken against those persons. Sometimes they get clearance from higher ups that you run, no problem, whether you have a license or don't license. But if you want
Yes.
that there should be public safety, then all
So a lot of
norms should
lapses,
be
of course,
followed by
have come to the fore. Now, as far as, of course, now Sanjay Sahai, preventive measures are concerned, what all needs to be done? Should this become now an example case on how to ensure that other restaurants, other bars, other nightclubs adhere to fire safety norms and do not put the lives of customers and their own employees at risk, like this entity has done in Goa?
See, first and foremost, immediately there has to be an audit of all the compliances which are followed or not followed by different sets of hospitality industry enterprises in Goa. And to your surprise, you will find that there will be very few exceptions who have complied to all the norms. That audit will give us a very clear cut idea as to where we stand. Every time we face the same, face the same crisis and react in a toolkit style of a case and arresting one or two guys, and the life goes on. Second is this total collusion culture. It is a total collusion culture from political executive to down the line. So Chief Minister says he will order an inquiry. The fence is eating the crop, and we are asking the fence to conduct an inquiry. Who will be indicted in that inquiry? This is not a culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. This is a murder. This is outright murder. There is absolutely nothing else. And if it is to be proven in a court of law, there are ways and means by which it can be proven. So and these people who have been colluding to make this happen, make it run. I think the Luthras were the top-notch blue-eyed boys of hospitality industry across the country. That is what I have been told. And they have been threatening guys. This is not the only bar or club there. There's one more bar club running in similar circumstances. They have been threatening local authorities. And the way the cutting edge level of administration in this country, they cave in for literally anything and everything. So the whole thing caves in until and unless there is a departmental inquiry and they're dismissed from service within 3 to 5 days, or straight away invoke Article 311, and they can send home. There were 2 constables, if I remember correctly, in Andhra Pradesh. They were caught in a rape case and they were summarily discharged from service under Article 311 of the Indian Constitution. Something of that nature to happen. And this whole data, we have to go in for an open data policy. And that open data policy, all data which impacts us and does not fall into national security and variety of other things which government need not divulge, should be made open to public. We have absolutely no idea as to what things are happening in whichever manner. We also have the right to know how does the investigation in this nature interact with the immigration authorities. So literally, I think the whole media, the whole civil population, we are just in the dark, and so whatever is fed, we take it. So 3-4 levels it has to happen. One is the regulatory enforcement level. The second is the policy design level itself. Third is investigation level. 4 is technology, where integration of policing, investigation, intelligence, immigration, that has to happen. Ranarao and company were able to get some 230-40 kgs of gold. So this is where we stand. Let's first accept the fact that we are in a totally broken system. And we cannot keep on repeating that inquiry will happen and we will come to know. How the Luthras has escaped, the whole world knows.
Okay, let me take that to Dr. Swati. Now, Dr. Swati, reportedly moves being made to cancel their passports. Also, reportedly one of their other properties in Goa is seeing bulldozer action as well. What do you make of how the news is tightening around the 2 brothers despite their escape?
Well, I think it is crying over spilt milk now. 25 people have already died. We cannot bring them back. What is now happening is basically a face-saving exercise. Now the government is, or the authorities are just trying to justify their lethargy. They're saying, okay, we are going to do this now. What I asked them is, why did they not do it when it was time for them to do something? If they don't demolish this, the other club now, the people are going to go and demolish it. So they are basically doing something that will be done no matter what. That is what I feel, Mr. Uday Pratap. Now, the thing is, like Mr. Sahai rightly said, we need an overall of the system. And the fact remains that people are also a part of the system. The people who are today crying that the system is not doing anything are the ones who are responsible for the system not doing anything. So ultimately, the mindset needs to change. Why do people go to that club which has a single exit? People are clamoring over each other to enter that club just because it is difficult to get into it. You make a club the most expensive club of the city, of the area. You make it the most sought after, knowing fully well that if there comes a time to run, you will not be able to run anywhere. You will die a horrible death in that club if something happens. So ultimately, the people need to be held responsible too. And who is going to make them responsible in a country which is clamoring with people? It is the authorities. We go back, we round back to the same spot where we all started from at the beginning of this discussion. What were the authorities doing when it was time for them to tighten the noose? Why are they tightening the noose now? Who are they tightening it on? There is no neck inside the noose. If they keep on tightening it, the rope is ultimately going to touch each other because there is no neck to strangle. We are now looking, clamoring, running here and there to find out where the two brothers have gone. When they were leaving our clutches, we let them go. Was that letting them go deliberate? Was it an oversight? Was it lethargy? Was it all pre planned? That is what we have to find out now. And if we don't punish the responsible people today, these incidents are just a chain of events. They will keep happening. We have the New Year parties now coming up. Everything will keep repeating on loop. It will be eat, sleep, burn, and continue. That is what I say.
Okay, let me in fact go to you now, Ambassador Gupta, on how again this case has taught us on what not to do in the future as well. How can we ensure that in the future people are not allowed to abscond from the law, are not allowed to flee abroad at the earliest opportunity, despite any checks, despite any stopping of theirs? We've seen it before with multiple individuals who've gone abroad and absconded. It's happened again in this case as well. How do we ensure it doesn't happen in the future?
Saabji, in this particular case, as I seen from the media, the fire took place in the night and they escaped at 5:14 in the morning. So obviously there was absolutely no time where the authorities could have taken action to prevent it happen. But there are also cases where this has happened after days. There the government should have taken action. But in this particular case, if this information is right, then there was a gap only of 6-7 hours. And during that period of night, I don't think government is so efficient which can issue all these notices and tell the immigration authority not them to prevent them from flying. But I personally feel as a bureaucrat, as a diplomat, that in no country in the world such kind of illegal racket can run. Even in Africa, it doesn't happen. In our country, the bureaucrats are in hand in gloves with these people. The politicians are also there. So my viewpoint is that those people who allowed this to be constructed, who allowed this to run, they should be also arrested immediately, because that will send a signal that nobody should permit this kind of illegal activities in the country. Unless the bureaucrats are arrested and punished and dismissed, this thing is not going to work, because the rich and powerful will always use their influence to get things done. This has happened everywhere in the world, not only India. Now, to prevent that happening, we have to put our system, on guard, and that is possible only when the bureaucracy is punished. In India, the bureaucracy is not punished. I am telling you, as a member of the bureaucracy, they are able to escape from all kinds of laws, and that is the reason why these illegal activities are happening. Now, people who are responsible, who could have prevented the construction, who could have prevented the license for operating it, and those people who did not issue the fire certificate, they were all right, but others were in collusion with these guys. And these guys, of course, they should be punished. But I find those people who permitted it to happen, they are far more responsible for this incident. And they should be brought to, justice immediately. And the government can do that because all those people are very much in Goa, and they should be brought into the net of the law immediately, as happened in other cases. Now I agree with Sahai Saab fully that this kind of regulatory framework has to be put in place. People have to be punished, and a check audit should be conducted of all nightclubs, not only in Goa but all over the country, where the systems are not in place and they are running the nightclub. All those nightclubs, this gives an opportunity that all those nightclubs should be closed down immediately, which do not have proper permission, proper exit, proper fire, arrangements, and proper licenses. That's the only way to move forward. And this is not possible unless there is a strong political will and a strong bureaucratic will to enforce these decisions. But so far as the extradition is concerned, if these people are still in Thailand, I'm sure their extradition will happen very quickly because we have very good relations with Thai government and the extradition treaty is in place. And obviously, they should be brought to the country within, I suppose, in 1 to 2 months. But if they have escaped Thailand,
Yes.
then we don't know where they are
Okay.
and what would be the consequences. That would be very difficult to know.
All right, 30 seconds to Mr. Meena before we wrap up. Last word.
The authorities should act quickly. They should go systematically. They should inquire into the sequence of events, what are the lapses they were there. And regarding investigation, police should authorities should contact concerned authorities, and they should be expedited immediately.
My thanks
Because
to all
what
of our
happens-
guests for joining us. We've run totally out of time. Let's step into a short break.